The problem with like coming up with such a specific idea is that you look for it and then you can't find it, and it's just so frustrating that you're like, I have to make it. I wish someone else had, but now I have to. Welcome to Midlight Christmas, the podcast where normally we talk about Twilight and Midnight Sun, but we're having a Christmas episode. We're going to talk about not the chapters as a gift to ourselves. We didn't have to read Twilight, or most especially, we didn't have to read Midnight Sun this week, which was so great. How's that going over with you guys?
It's great. I wasn't expecting you to go like that, and it was just so good.
Yeah, I specifically didn't tell you guys before we started recording.
Oh, it was really good.
So instead of randomly generated young adult novel titles this week, we've got randomly generated Hallmark Christmas movie titles. My name is Sophie, and I'm starring in this year's Hallmark #1 jam, which is Winter for Christmas.
Wow.
Come on, guys, we're having winter for Christmas.
Amazing.
I forget that there's people that aren't Canadian that celebrate Christmas and legitimately have Christmas without winter. So I was immediately going to be like, what the heck? Like, no, that's not even, you can't have Christmas without winter. And then I was like, Sam, no, not everyone lives up north.
Oh, yeah.
Not everyone lives in a frozen wasteland.
What about you guys? I would love to hear about your movies.
My name's Sam, and I'm starring in the Christmas Hallmark blockbuster known as Once Upon a Connection.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. This is definitely someone who gets like stranded in an airport over Christmas, right?
Wait, so is it just The Terminal with Tom Hanks?
Oh,
I don't know.
Except specifically only Christmas.
I mean, I can't be the only person who goes to, every time they go to an airport, like, hopes that they'll meet their soulmate at the airport. Every time I travel. Not that I've traveled in a year, but
I feel like that would be so tragic. How would you find them again?
I don't know, but that's the romance. They find you, they chase you. It's the grand display of love.
Wow.
Okay.
Generally, I get to an airport like in the grossest sweatpants, just being like, please let this be over.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess if they don't love you at your airport sweatpants, they don't deserve you any other time. Anyway.
Hello. My name is Hannah, and I will be starring in this year's smash hit Hallmark Christmas movie, A Christmas Christmas. What's this about? I don't know.
Oh my god, who made this code?
We're putting the Christmas back in Christmas. Yeah, I mean, I guess that one makes the most sense as like a hyper-religious.
Yeah,
that's true.
They're like
putting the Christ and the Mass back in Christmas.
Just
not in 2020. Wait until the vaccine has had widespread rollout.
Yeah, so like 2022.
Yeah. I'm getting that vaccine as soon as they tell me I'm allowed to.
Yeah, I learned today that in theory, my demographic will probably be getting it next fall. So I love that. Anyway. This week we decided we didn't want to talk about the chapters because it's actually quite far from Christmas, but you know, it's basically Christmas. It rolled over to December and we were like, we're done. And our first idea was, you know, it'd be fun is if we like watched a vampire Christmas movie, you know, kind of on brand. There's got to be some of those out there with the 10,000 Hallmark movies out there. There's literally none. There's not a single vampire Christmas movie. And I mean, I guess I kind of get it, but I don't really get it. Everything else has been made.
I bet if Hallmark was, well, maybe they were, but if Hallmark movies were as big in 2007 as they are now, there would definitely be a vampire Christmas movie.
Yeah, I can't believe there isn't even like a parody one. Like, we couldn't find anything.
We found like horror movies, but I don't want to watch a horror movie set at Christmas.
I found like one that was actually set at Christmas. The other ones were like, it's vampires and it's winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that doesn't count.
Yeah, I want a vampire holiday rom-com.
Exactly. So we're gonna make it with zero experience writing movies, or actually, I'm pretty sure 2 of us don't really even watch Hallmark movies ever.
I watched 2 with my roommate last week.
So you're the most qualified.
Mm,
Perfect.
I mean, I was once an actor. In grade 6, I was in a school production of The Wizard of Oz, and I had a line, and that
Okay.
line was "Follow the yellow brick road."
Wow. You're like so qualified.
Yeah, they considered me for an Oscar that year, but it just didn't work out.
Damn. You couldn't be there to accept the award, so they gave it to someone else.
Yeah, I think there was an age restriction, and I was
Oh,
like 12
yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
I wrote a play with a couple of my friends in grade 6 about the history of Quebec. So, I'm
Riveting.
so I think
Uh-huh.
I'm ready for this.
Perfect. And Sam?
I mean, I've watched the most Hallmark movies out of the 3 of us, let's be honest.
Honestly, the most important thing you can
Yeah.
possibly say. All right. So we're basically experts is what we're saying.
Yeah.
This won't go badly at all. We do at least have like some structure to how we're going to do this. As we've mentioned before, each of us has a thing that we like very much in books. So we're going to include that in this movie if we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so my thing is I want it to be a fairy tale retelling. It might end up being very loosely based. Yeah.
Have you selected a fairy tale for us?
I have. The fairy tale I've selected, because it's Christmas, is The
Uh-huh.
Nutcracker.
Oh, man!
Nice.
Which is just, like, absolutely off the rails.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very loosely based on The Nutcracker.
So, because The Nutcracker is very well known as a stage play, can the Nutcracker element be a theatrical production? Or do you want it to be like, no, the Nutcracker happens in real life in this movie?
Well, so I had actually, the Nutcracker play is
Uh-huh.
based on a story called The Nutcracker and the Mouse King,
Oh, really?
which has like a less theatrical plot,
Okay.
which like to me actually does fit better with what you would see in like your classic YA retelling of a fairy tale. So I don't know that it'll translate to screen very well. But we'll get into that when we get there. How about that?
Can you remind me what the Nutcracker is about? I know there's a Rat King, and that's all I got.
Yeah, so I'll give like a super brief of the theatrical one because it's like much easier to summarize, and then I'll just say where the book differs from it, which is really just the ending, which is
Okay.
good because the play is just like chaos.
Yeah.
Basically, this magician comes to a Christmas dinner where everyone's having a party, and he's like the local councilman / magician, and he brings all these magical toys that dance around. But there's like this Nutcracker that this one girl, Clara, is like in love with. Her brother breaks it, and she's very sad about it. So at midnight, she comes back down to check on her Nutcracker, and she looks up, and as the clock strikes midnight, the magician is there on top of the clock. And then mice begin to fill the room, and she like shrinks and everything else grows, and there's like a battle between the mice and their mouse king and like gingerbread soldiers.
Uh-huh.
And then the mouse king is killed by the Nutcracker because
Oh, God.
Clara throws her shoe and distracts him.
So, this girl was, like, on acid or something, right?
Yes. That's not the end of it. In the theatrical one, they go to the land of sweets and stuff happens, and then he's like, wow, thanks, and takes her home. And that's the end of it. In the book, after the Rat King is killed, basically the girl finds out that the Nutcracker was cursed to look like that because the Mouse Queen cursed this princess. Okay, wait. This is confusing. Let me go back.
Okay.
The Mouse Queen cursed a princess to look basically like a nutcracker, and the only way to cure her was like this huge complicated thing. And so they found a boy who had like this huge complicated thing to solve it. But at the last moment he did something wrong, and so the curse flipped to him, and so now he was the nutcracker. And the princess was like, "Wow, you're disgusting. Go away."
Oh my god.
Yeah, even though he had saved her from looking like a nutcracker. And so then everything happened, and then he found this girl, and that's when he killed the Rat King. And basically she was like, "Oh man, that sucks. You know, if I was the princess, I wouldn't have said that." And then he's like, "Wow, that's solved and broke the curse." And then he was beautiful again. And that's
Wow.
easy, right?
There's a lot to digest. I feel like that gives us a pretty good like basis for a plot of a Goofy movie, though.
Exactly. Because like really when you bring it down to the bare bones, it's just Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is the most overdone fairy tale retelling in YA right now.
Yeah, so I think the part we should focus on is the part where she distracts the Mouse King and the Nutcracker kills him. Because in the book, the Mouse King has 7 different heads.
Oh my god.
I vaguely do recall that.
It's like a Hydra.
A Moustra.
Yeah, that it's like, well, you know, like the Rat Kings that have their tails all tangled together, like in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like that. Yeah, I think we have some like parts of that we could use.
Yeah.
Because I know Disney like tried to do a Nutcracker movie, and that just seemed wild. But yeah, so that's the fairy tale, which I imagine is just a lot of chaos. So what are your guys' things?
Well, we all know what my thing is. I love enemies to lovers. And I feel like, okay, I wasn't super familiar with the Nutcracker, but I feel like that's like a really applicable thing here that we can make work. And I am a sucker for the Hallmark movies where like the girl goes into the small town and then the guy like not runs her over. Wow, that's really bad. But like, you know, like almost runs her over or like does something, and then they like start off hating each other, and then they're forced to like work together, and then they fall in love while they're doing that.
Hell yeah.
So I feel like we can somehow make that work with the girl and the Nutcracker and something.
Yeah.
Because Beauty and the Beast is essentially also enemies to lovers, but with some Stockholm syndrome in there.
Look at the Nutcracker plot, and I just, you know, substitute every part they say Nutcracker for vampire. I think we've got like a solid story.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, that's definitely the easiest way. And then it's like the mice are bats. And then, or like, what else? What other?
I refuse to make it wolves or werewolves. We can't go that far. Unless we want to do it better than Stephanie Meyer.
But there's other mythical creatures that are the enemy of vampires.
Yeah.
Really? Like what?
Well, you can either do good
monster.
Yeah. You could do good vamp versus bad vamp. So you have like your evil vamps and your good vamps. That's a common trope.
How do you feel about the enemies to lovers where like our main girl has to work together with the quote unquote Nutcracker to kill the quote unquote Rat King, and they don't want to, right? Like that kind of thing where it's like, oh, we're forced to work together, but I hate that guy. Okay.
I love that.
Yeah. But what if that's like our,
I'm really on board with the idea that the Nutcracker is the vampire. Are we going to lock that down?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So I have a thought because
so do I.
This might be nothing, but because this is set at Christmas, I thought, what is a more, other than like Santa, what is a more Christmassy cryptid than the abominable snowman.
Oh,
So can we have one of those instead of a rat king?
Yes. Yes.
Like a
Okay.
Krampus? Can we have a Krampus?
Oh, we could have a
Yeah.
Krampus. I like that. Okay, my opinion is that the quote-unquote main character has to be like a human woman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now it should be like Sam's thing, enemies to lovers. So we have
Yeah.
to pick someone who would be like a human, but like enemy of a vampire. And so I feel like there are some options. Like, what
Okay.
if they were vegan? So I was thinking, what if she's vegan? Or
Are we going to use the Nutcracker element where she like really likes the Nutcracker right off the bat and then something happens that makes her
Ooh.
not like him?
yeah, like we can do like a obviously the vampire has to be beautiful.
Yeah.
No, Sophie. Dazzling.
Dazzling. Yes.
Not
And he has to be like super
literally.
cocky, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's sarcastic as fuck.
Yeah.
Calm down, Sam.
Rude.
This is just gonna be all of us calling each other out.
Oh, I'm so here for that though.
Okay, no, but like, because I feel like having a fun twist, like, I don't know, maybe she's like a mortician or,
Oh.
you know, like something that's like, no, I keep dead people dead.
What if she's like a cryptozoologist?
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
No, because then she'd be like super into the vampire.
Yeah, but that's the conflict is he needs her help, but he can't reveal to her that he's a vampire
Oh my
because then
God.
she'll I don't know, dissect him or like study him or be weird about it.
Right. Like, okay, wait. What if the vampire is like traveling around, like eating humanoid cryptids? And so like he's like the equivalent of like a big game hunter, where he just like is like, I'm gonna go eat the Krampus. And it's like that's the only Krampus in the world. And it's like, I'm gonna go eat the Krampus.
Well,
Oh, so does he recruit her for help? And she just thinks that this is this like handsome man who is also really into cryptids and like wants to go find
Yes.
Krampus.
Or like what if what if he's there to like eat a different one,
Mhm.
but then like they realize like, oh this isn't like Bigfoot, it's the Krampus. And so it goes from like
Yeah.
him just hunting it to being like, oh shit, the Krampus is hunting us.
okay,
Ooh.
wait. And to add to the elements that I love in a male lead, he has to have a tragic backstory. So, like, whatever he's looking for originally is like what killed his entire family, or is like somehow related to how he became a vampire.
We discussed earlier in the show that my favorite trope is found family, but I also love so much the family, found or otherwise, that has to fight each other. So, hear me out. Krampus and Dracula vampire are brothers. But maybe they like lost track of each other and like Vampire Nutcracker is like, yeah, I heard about this Krampus, I'm gonna go kill it, like, it's, I don't know, encroaching on my eating people territory or whatever, and then they find it, and it's like, oh my god, it's my brother David.
Yeah, the big twist at the end is like, Krampus is what you get if like a vampire goes too far north.
And he gets bitten by an Arctic wolf.
Wait, what's Krampus's deal again? He's like anti-Santa.
Yeah.
So if a vampire
Punish-
manages to catch and eat an elf, it becomes a Krampus. Okay, I feel like we're getting somewhere.
I feel like this is not a Hallmark movie.
No, I was like, this is a horror movie.
Oh yeah, okay, wait.
Adaptation.
I don't watch. Okay.
I read a lot of fantasy novels. I don't watch Hallmark movies.
I do too, but I also watch a lot of Hallmark movies because I'm a sappy romantic deep inside.
Okay.
Okay.
I think the idea of human woman and vampire nutcracker working together for a common goal
Yeah.
and not liking each other at first is like
Solid.
solid Hallmark material.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Okay, so you know what? No, you know what is going to get us back on track? We're going to pick our Hallmark theme.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Hallmark movies generally have one of like 6 plots.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're always solid. So all we have to do is pick a Hallmark plot.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll weave that in somewhere, and that will be like the big thing. This might
Okay.
we might have to erase some of our previous stuff.
That's okay.
But
I'm sure this is how the boardroom pitch
yeah.
works.
This is usually how a boardroom pitch goes. Okay, I have a list of like 12 Hallmark holiday movie plots. I'm not going to say all of them. I'm just going to go through them and pick ones that seem like they might be able to fit a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, the classic Hallmark movies about opposites attracting.
Well, yes.
Duh.
Yeah.
We got that far.
Yeah. Oh, I thought these would be way more in depth, but that's literally the plot, I guess, that they're going to go with for this one.
That's not a plot.
Yeah, so that one we've already got.
Check that box.
Yeah. Okay. So a Hallmark movie about heading home for the holidays. So like that could be an option. Maybe like either the vampire is going, this is where his family's from, or she's heading home for the holidays.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll keep that. Oh my God.
Maybe he can't find his family for whatever reason, and he's like, I've heard that there's this cryptozoologist here.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can get her to help me find my family, and then I'll eat her at the end. Wait. Damn it.
Uh-huh.
I was watching Star Wars Rebels season finale last night, so I was feeling kind of maudlin. I think it's carrying over.
Like you do.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay, another option. Hear me out.
Yeah.
A Hallmark movie about a childhood sweetheart.
No.
So he's only just turned into a vampire.
Okay, I was thinking that was like a double entendre where it's like, she has the sweetest blood in her heart.
Oh.
Which is too Twilighty and also kind of gross for me.
Yeah.
Next.
We've got Hallmark movies about falling for a handsome local. Right? Yeah. Sam said that at the beginning. Yeah. So like maybe she's coming home for Christmas and he's there, or the opposite.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just like the way they described this one, which was Hallmark movies about journalism, but Christmas.
Oh dear.
It is true though. There's so many where it's like girl goes to cover a story and then falls in love with a prince.
So I think we're gonna go with Going Home for the Holidays.
Okay.
Right?
Which one of them? I like the idea of the vampire going home personally.
Yeah.
What if he like left and hasn't been back in like hundreds of years or whatever? And
my god, then we can have a family reunion scene.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That's like, what I want.
Great grandchildren.
Yeah.
No, like the other vampires in his family.
Oh. Yes.
Wait, yeah, I was definitely thinking he left his vampire family.
Oh yeah, I'm into that.
Like a century ago.
That works.
And now wants to go home, but for some reason,
oh my god,
has to bring a human with him.
Is his only family the Krampus, and he can't find his brother, and then it turns out his brother's the Krampus?
Oh, yes.
Wait, are Hallmark movies allowed to be sad?
Yeah.
I mean, well, does he know that his brother's the Krampus? Maybe he just doesn't tell the human that his brother's the Krampus. And, like, maybe they left because his brother turned into the Krampus, and that's too different from a vampire. And it was like, oh, we can't do this anymore. And then they lost track of each other because obviously vampires and Krampuses don't use social media, so how are they supposed to keep track of each other in this modernized world?
This is a great point. You know that because this is a Hallmark movie, the Krampus is gonna have to not die at the end, right? It's just
yes.
Krampus is just gonna have to be turned back into a not Krampus.
Yeah.
Or he could be like a chill Krampus.
Yeah, or he's like a chill Krampus. How about we make another hot toddy break and consider what we've come up with so far. This is where we'll put the ads, the ad break. Yeah, we took a brief hiatus to refill our drinks because we are all drinking the same thing for this episode of Midlight Christmas. And that is I forget what we called it. What was it called, Hannah?
I came up with a couple ideas that I liked. There was the Midlight Potty or the Hot Crisis.
That one.
Okay, so it's obviously the Hot Crisis. So, do you want to break down what's in it, Sam?
Yeah, sure. So it's bourbon or whiskey, your favorite of choice. A lemon. So you squeeze half a lemon in and then you cut 2 slices of lemon, throw it in. You boil some water and throw that in. And then the secret ingredient is you replace the honey with maple syrup. And my God, it is life-changing.
It's really good.
This is the Canadian hot toddy.
A hot crisis.
We're having a great time.
Cheers.
Hot crisis, eh?
Oh, yeah, eh?
It's a hot crisis, bye.
Get a Mickey of that hot crisis in there.
Sam's got to make a hot crisis in her drink.
Yep. This is my 4th shot of the last hour and a half, so we gotta get going or I'm gonna be on the floor.
We have to finish this movie stat. Okay.
All right.
So I was thinking about it while I was mixing my drink. And what if the Krampus in this town is like, I don't know if it's actually, I think we're going actual Krampus, but like disguised as a person in the town, just like a human who is like ruining Christmas. Because it's a Hallmark movie. So what the Krampus does is during the Christmas season punishes children who have misbehaved. So what if like in this town this Krampus is just like acting as though no child has been good, and so they're like canceling the Christmas parade,
kicking over snowmen.
Yeah, kicking over snowmen. Like it's illegal to put lights up on your house. Like what? That's what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the vampire is coming home for Christmas, but like he loves Christmas because his family was always super into Christmas. And we said, okay, well, is it too? Okay, we have to have the tragic backstory because Sam loves it. What if the rest of the vampire family loved Christmas and they all died somehow?
Okay, I have an idea, actually.
Main character vampire.
He needs a name.
Chris left.
Chris the Christmas vampire.
Yeah. Chris the Christmas vampire left because this town was so Christmassy that he just like couldn't handle it, right? Like they just went all out at Christmas. So he left and he couldn't bear it. But now he's like, okay, I'm coming home for Christmas because I'm ready to see my brother who I've been estranged from. And so his brother went the opposite way and is just like ruining Christmas. Every year it's like worse.
So does Chris know that his brother is the Krampus? Or is that going to be like the reveal and the conflict and then they have a reconciliation?
Okay. What if like what if like a normal vampire is one who loves Christmas? like what if we make our vampires like all like what if we find a way to make all Christmas traditions a thing that came from the vampire myth in this world?
Yeah. Okay, so one thing about that is I saw in a couple of resources that because mistletoe is like a parasitic plant, some people call it a vampire plant.
Oh my god, yeah,
really?
See, exactly. Things like that.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
So it'll be like, oh yeah, we decorate with mistletoe because it's like the vampire holiday.
It's the vampire. Yeah. And I had an idea. Perhaps the vampire family was like really excited, you know, setting up for Christmas one year. And they got this like huge, beautiful tree to put up. And then it tragically fell over and staked the entire family. And that's why Chris can't deal with Christmas anymore, because his family was killed by a freak Christmas tree accident.
I mean, yes.
I love this. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. The thing I was thinking is like the reason Christmas is celebrated when it is because it's like the longest, almost the longest nights of the year is like that week.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's why, oh yeah, we celebrate Christmas because it's like when we can be out the longest.
Yeah.
So it's like the vampire holiday. Oh man, I love this.
I love this too.
I love Christmas as a vampire holiday.
It's fantastic.
there's got to be some tie-in to like mulled wine and like cranberries and all of those like dark red decorations, right?
Yeah, like you gotta mull your blood. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like, yeah, like why?
Well, it's like a thing to have like strings of cranberries and like or holly berries and stuff because it looks like drops of blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
anytime,
God.
like, because vampires aren't super well known, they would have like mulled wine going at the same time as blood. So
Mhm.
if anyone came in to like be like, "What the hell are you doing?" It's like, "Oh, it's just mulled wine. It's not blood.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just looks like it."
hmm Well, and this makes total sense because most of our Christmas traditions are from like pagan traditions, right? That have
Yeah.
this kind of like supernatural
Yeah.
element. There's already a history of Christmas traditions being co-opted by religious groups. So maybe it was a vampire holiday.
Mhm.
And then like the vampires got along well with the pagans back in the day, so the pagans started taking some of these traditions.
Love it.
And then the Christians were like, we're being persecuted. We're going to take these pagan traditions and say that they're ours now.
Hell yeah.
So really,
Yeah.
really, Christmas is all about vampires.
Yeah, if you
Love
think
it.
about it,
Love
Christmas
it.
is all about vampires.
This is an amazing idea. Someone
I'm
should
so
be
here
writing
for
this
it.
down.
I should be writing this down. I'm gonna re-listen to this episode when we're writing the screenplay that's gonna make us billions of dollars.
Yeah,
Billions.
absolutely. Writing credit midlight crisis.
What
People
if-
will be like, who the fuck?
Okay, wait. Oh my god. What if
Okay.
the original Christmas was like a goodwill gesture between like the vampires of the town and the humans? Because like
Oh.
you have this like very meat centric meal, but
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
when you kill like a turkey, you like bleed it first, right? And so like
Oh.
it's
So
like
it's like
the vampire-
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, the vampires. Well,
Well.
hopefully not with colonialism.
Well, I mean,
Well, but yeah, so like each got like part of it, and it was. I guess we're saying this is the origin of Christmas was in this
Yeah.
town.
Yes,
Yeah.
we are.
we've gone off the rails into like hardcore world building now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, we
so
have.
we need to back up a little bit. I think
Okay.
that's pretty good. We're gonna stop creating Christmas the vampire story. But we need to figure out our characters. Who's
Yeah.
our
Yes.
main character?
Well, Chris, the Christmas vampire.
Yeah, there's Chris the Christmas vampire.
Right.
And if we're going off the Nutcracker, which I kind of had forgotten we were doing until just
Yeah.
now,
Which,
is
yeah.
the woman's name Clara then?
Yeah. Sure. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And maybe she goes to like buy, the meat cute. She goes to pick up this Nutcracker from a store, and Chris also goes to pick it up because, I don't know, he
His
likes...
it was his family. It's like it's in
Yeah,
an antique
it's an
store.
antique. Yeah.
Yes.
And it's
And
like
they
the
fight
one
over
that
it.
was on their mantle. Yeah.
Yes.
It was like modeled after his father or something.
Yes.
And she ends up with it. And one time there's like a scene where she's like looking at it and she's like, it looks a lot like him.
Oh my god, yes.
Okay.
And
I
then it's
almost
weird.
spit my hot toddy.
So is Clara a local?
Well, I guess so. I wonder
Okay.
if like why is she in the town? Does she live there? I feel like she should be a recent addition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if she's like a cryptozoologist, then there's got to be like she's there for. I'm going with this. Like,
Yeah,
we have
I
to
love
bring
that.
biologists into this somehow. So
Well, maybe she's heard that there's a big like vampire presence around Christmas in this area. She's like deciphered some like old poems from the region or whatever, and like pieced together a bunch of stories that like, wait a second, there seems to be an unusually high amount of vampire lore in this specific region
Right.
at this specific time.
yeah,
Okay.
and maybe she's really anti-Christmas or something like that. Like maybe.
Well, she's too busy to celebrate the holidays. Like her work comes first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay. And so like what if Krampuses aren't supposed to be in towns, right? Like they're not supposed to be disguised as humans in towns. They're supposed to be like living out in the forest like a abominable snowman, right? And so she's
Yeah.
like, we have to get this Krampus out of this town
hmm
because it's a danger to humans
hmm
Right.
and it's ruining Christmas.
Well, she doesn't care about that, but Chris probably cares about that.
Chris cares a lot about that. And okay, so are we doing that like she wants to kill the Krampus and he wants
Wait.
to just convert him back to
Wait,
Yeah, wait a second.
did we
Hold on.
decide if he knows that the Krampus is his brother yet?
Yeah, well, so there's gonna be like, you know, after they decide to team up, there's a moment
Yeah.
where he's like, there's only one thing that happens to a vampire that hates Christmas. And then he's like, they become a Krampus.
Yeah.
And then she gasps and she's like, oh, I've only heard of Krampuses.
I thought Krampuses were a myth.
She's like, I was here to find vampires.
Perfection.
Yeah. At what
Okay,
point
wait.
did she find out that Chris is a vampire?
Okay, I think when they have their like meet cute and they like fight over the Nutcracker, she like sees something, right? Like she sees him like, I don't know, flinch
like,
away from
bares
the
his fangs or
window
something.
or well, I don't think it should be that. I think it should be like gets a burn from like the window or something.
Mm.
His arm, like while they're fighting, his like sleeve rolls up and then he gets burnt by the sunlight or something. And then when she goes home and she's looking at the Nutcracker, she's like, wow, like he said it belonged to a family member. It looks a lot like him. And then when she opens the Nutcracker mouth, it has fangs.
I was gonna say, can it please be a vampire Nutcracker?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think it should be.
Yeah, I like
absolutely.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So Clara the cryptozoologist comes to town in search of vampires.
Yeah, and so she goes to like the local pub to be like, this is where people always talk about shit.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm just gonna see what the town drama is. And everyone's talking about how like the bad boy is in town, you know, like, oh yeah, it said he's related, he's like the brother of the mayor, right? Because the mayor is the Krampus.
Yeah.
It's like
okay.
supposedly he's like the mayor's brother, and it's the first time he's been back in town in like decades.
Would they know that? Because Chris doesn't even know that he's the brother, does he? At first?
Well, so I thought that they know the mayor is the brother, but they don't know that he's a Krampus yet. Right? Like,
yeah, that would work.
Like he's here to see his brother who he's like been estranged from.
Okay, yeah.
And so he's like, let's say yes.
It's
yes,
more of an insight. I've been trying to come up with a name for the brother.
Okay.
No, this isn't even funny. There's like a running joke in my family that my brother's friend Alex ruins Christmas. That just popped into my head, and I'm like, oh, the guy who ruins Christmas. It's like, oh yeah, it's that time that he like tackled the Christmas tree and like ripped up all the presents.
Okay, wait. I also had an idea.
Okay.
And what if the brother is named Chris also, but with a K? For Krampus.
I feel like that's too difficult in like an audiovisual medium, though.
What about Curtis?
But then
I was thinking Cam.
But then you
Craig.
just have to have the one character when they're talking. They just always have to say Chris with a K or Chris with a C.
Is Cram a name?
What about Craig but with a K?
That's what I was thinking. Craig.
Craig is a good name.
Yeah.
Krampus, Craig, and Chris the Christmas Vampire.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chris is short for Christmasferatu. I will not be taking any notes.
I will be accepting no ads. All right. So goes to the pub. Everyone's being like, mayor's brother has come to town, but the mayor's refusing to see him. Like,
oh, that's so sad.
And it's like, yeah, it's like we didn't even know he had a brother, but like apparently he's been gone for a really long time and he's come back. And so she's like, because I'm here to find vampires. And she's like, if nobody in town knows this guy, but he's the brother, he must have been alive for a very long time.
Is the mayor really old?
Well, I was thinking the way they say it is they're like, yeah, apparently the mayor's brother is here, but like...
It could be that she doesn't make the connection at first and then like runs into Chris at the antique shop.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, this guy's weird. And then she figures out that he's the brother and also that he's a vampire like around the same time.
Yeah.
And then she's like, wait a second, the mayor.
The mayor must also be a vampire. She's like, it's worse than we thought to know because she doesn't have anybody with her. She says that into her little like recording
tape recorder. Okay, well now that we're making this Clara sound like a giant dork. She just morphed into Sophie in my head. Just like, aha! I've discovered it.
If I was in a Hallmark movie, I would be a cryptozoologist.
Yes, you
Damn
would
it.
be.
All right, when we cast this movie,
when we cast this movie, I guess I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, Clara, who is not me, she goes to the pub, hears all this stuff, and then right after that, she's like, you know where I'm gonna find some vampire paraphernalia? At the antique shop. So she's like, I'm gonna go buy history. Yeah, I'm gonna go buy some local history. And so she goes in and she like sees the oldest thing there, which is this like nutcracker. And like as she picks it up, the guy, Chris and the shopkeeper come up and he's like, oh, I was about to buy that. And they have like a fight because she's like, I'm holding it and I
need this for my research.
Yeah,
it's very important.
Like, you can have it when I'm done with it. And he's like, no, don't you know who I am?
This is a family heirloom.
Yeah, it's a family heirloom. And they fight and he says some snarky things at her, I guess.
Something
and she snarks back.
Sarcastic.
Yeah. They just snark at each other.
Yeah. Who ends up with the nutcracker then?
I think she ends up with it. Yeah.
She ends up with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because he can just like sneak into her house and take it, probably.
Probably. Let's not. How about this is a vampire who doesn't sneak into people's houses while they're sleeping? Okay, no, there's the rule where you have to let them in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We can use that rule.
Yeah. That's one that is mandatory for our vampire meeting.
That is existing in our world.
Yep. So he's just gonna wait it out because he's immortal, and eventually he'll get it back.
Eventually he'll get it back.
This is I'm bound and determined to make this into a horror movie. Apparently.
Yeah. Okay, wait. What if he wants it? What if he wants it not only because it's like a family heirloom, but like his brother has like destroyed or gotten rid of all of their like family Christmas stuff.
Yeah,
and so
it's the
he's
last
like,
thing.
Yeah, and he's like, I need to help my brother remember how to love Christmas.
Yeah.
So I have to show him all these family Christmas things.
Wait. What if it has like something hidden in it? Because that's like a super common thing. It's like they try to get it back because there's like, I don't know, some sort of like memory locked in it or something. Something like special. I don't know. Did we put magic in our world? Is magic?
Maybe they like painted it together or something when they were kids. Like, vampire kids.
I bet you it's like a thing where, you know, like in olden times where you didn't have anything to do, you would get like a build a nutcracker kit and they like put it together.
Okay, fair. Yeah.
And
they did it together on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, and they painted it to look like their dad.
Yeah.
Okay. Chill.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
So it does hold a memory, but not physically.
Not physically, magically. Yeah, and so she goes home and she looks at it and she's like, oh, dang. I think he's a vampire. Because I was here to fight to find vampires.
She knows that vampires are really into Christmas, and she's like, the first... I guess... Would she even be a cryptozoologist? Would she be like a cryptoanthropologist?
Or like a historian, like researching Christmas?
Yeah.
And maybe she's like, because vampires aren't like a thing that people know about. What if she's like,
that was my next question.
People always say that like this is where Christmas came from, like XYZ pagan things. She's like, but I have a theory that Christmas originated as like a vampire Thanksgiving.
Yes.
That was my next question, was like, how are vampires known in this world that we've created? Because usually real people only know about vampires because the vampires are somehow able to disguise their blood drinking.
Yeah.
Like in True Blood, right? Like that's why they all came out. Or like in Underworld, they were like the dominant species. Like,
I feel like the vampire like mythos is probably pretty similar to our world, just that it's like these are absolutely fictional creatures.
Yeah.
And then she's like, but wait.
Yeah, there's a point where she's like pulling out notes and there's like an ancient book that has like a drawing and like stuff
of the Nutcracker, maybe?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's why she wants to buy it, because she sees it and she's like, I've seen this Nutcracker before.
Yeah.
Where have I seen this before? Yeah. And she takes it home and realizes that she's like seen it in a book from centuries old, like Christmas history or whatever.
Hell yeah.
I just want to point out, we have definitely made this way more detailed than any Hallmark movie ever is, and that's not bad. That's not bad.
It's gonna be the best Hallmark movie.
It's gonna be really good, but I just want, like, on a Hallmark like movie note, this plot is a lot more in depth than any Hallmark movie. But it's good in the best way.
Oh man, I really want to watch this movie.
I know, me too. We got to figure out the rest of it first, though.
Okay,
all right.
Oh, we're only at like the inciting incident.
I know. That's why we have to get
We're
moving.
an hour into our recording. Oh no.
There's at least 5 minutes of like us saying hot. It's fine.
You have to cut that out.
What if we just bleep out names?
It'll be a mystery.
Then the 3 people who listen to our podcast that we know are going to be like, are they talking about me? Is that what?
Okay, anyway.
Okay, so she's the Nutcracker. She figures out Chris is a vampire, and then she's like, that means Chris with a K is also a vampire.
Craig.
Oh yeah,
Craig.
Well, because I guess he'd be Mayor.
He's been mayor for a long time.
No, I don't know what their last name is. Mayor
Kringle.
Krampus.
Mayor Kringle.
Mayor Kringle. Are you telling me his name's it's Chris Kringle and Craig Kringle?
That's way too fucking drunk.
Or maybe their last name is like Pringle, and it's like, wait, your name is Chris Pringle, and it's like, yeah, all of the songs like got it wrong.
Okay. Yes, I love it. Chris Bringle.
Chris Pringle.
He's like, there's a scene where he's like, you really think we'd name ourselves, like we'd alliteratively name our children? That would be torture.
Yep.
Oh god.
Just reviewing anybody I know with an alliterative name.
All right. So the next thing we need is why they have to work together.
Yeah, okay.
What if she has a meeting with the mayor and he's like, he shows up and he's like, I'm sorry I was an but I really need to get in to talk to my brother.
Oh.
And she's like evil glaring him.
Yeah, and he's like, I need you to like say that I'm your assistant. And so like whatever you're talking to the mayor about, I have to be there.
Yes.
Because he's like, this is the only way my brother's gonna let me talk to him.
Yes.
So another possibility could be the opposite direction, where she realizes that like, oh, that's the mayor's brother. And she's been desperately trying to get a meeting with the mayor, but like he knows what she's there to research because he's the mayor. He's like, I'm not going to talk to this lady. She's going to figure it out. And she finds Chris and is like, okay, I need to talk to your brother. I will give you this Nutcracker if you get me in to see him. And Chris is like, knows that Craig Bringle doesn't want to talk to him. But he's like, I really want that Nutcracker. I am going to lie and say like, yeah, I will get you a meeting with my brother in return for this vampire cracker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was thinking the next part would be they get into this meeting with the mayor and both of them realize at the same time that like something's up. Right? And so when they leave, they're like, fuck, now we have to work together.
Yeah, now we have to figure out how to save my brother / rid the town of the Krampus.
Yeah, she's like, we have to kill him. And he's like, no, what?
Like, no.
No, we don't.
And that would be a good time when they're like walking out of the office and have, you know, that moment in a movie where like 2 people stand in like silence and don't look at each other and then one of them says the thing.
Yeah.
That's when you say there's only one thing that can happen when a vampire hates Christmas.
Yeah. Cause she's like, as they leave, but he like, you're a vampire. Like he can't be a vampire. Like vampires love Christmas. How can he be a vampire? And then he's like shadowy, like 3/4 view. And he's like, there's only one thing. Happens when a vampire hates Christmas.
Yes.
And there's like a lightning crack outside and it's like they become a Krampus.
The lights flash on the Christmas tree in the town square and then go out.
Oh my god.
Da-da.
the tuba and the marching band falls over.
Yeah.
Okay, this is great.
Oh man.
Yeah, whatever
I love
happens
this
there.
movie.
Yeah. Do we need to figure out like what happens in the meeting?
No.
Like I feel like what happens is they don't actually meet the mayor.
Yeah.
Like he's not there.
They see him as he's like walking by on the phone being like, no, you have to like take down, I don't know, the wreath on Main Street. I did not authorize this. We are not allowing any Christmas decorations this year.
Oh my god, wait. Okay, wait.
You don't have a permit for your Christmas wreath.
Okay, wait, I have a great idea.
Okay.
Okay, wait, that yes. But like the way she phrases it is she's like, I need you to get me into his office. Right, like the way she phrases it is like it doesn't necessarily mean that he has to be there, and so the vampire is like gets the loophole, which makes her even more angry at him.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh, I brought you in.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I fulfilled my end of the promise.
Yes. I'm here for it, yes.
But like they get into the room and it's like full of Christmas decorations, but then like she's like, wait a minute, and she like goes over to the tree and she like holds up the plug for the Christmas lights, which isn't plugged in, and she like goes over to the wreath and it's like upside down.
Yeah.
Like all the Christmas decorations are like not right. And like each one is revealed with like a dun dun.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god. And that's when they like leave and then she's like, I thought vampires loved Christmas.
Or maybe they realize something's wrong. And they're like, oh, we don't know what's going on here. We have to get out of here. And that's when they hear him on the phone walking towards the door. It's like, we gotta get out of here. Like, something's wrong with him. We need to figure it out.
Oh, and the way they get out is like he uses some vampire power.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
So that she gets confirmation that he's a vampire. Like, I don't know, he turns into like a cloud of bats and carries her out or something.
Yeah. Okay, wait, bats are good. What's a more Christmassy animal that he could turn into?
But isn't a snuggly bat and a Santa hat really Christmassy?
Bats are pretty
Christmassy.
Christmassy.
What if it's just a bat, but it's like really cute? Like, what if it's a flying fox bat? Like, it's just snuggly.
Oh, a flying Arctic fox.
Or it's just like, I mean, listen, hold on.
It turns into a flock of penguins.
No. Oh, God.
Wait, puffins!
If you make just like a vampire bat big, like they're actually pretty cute.
They're pretty cute.
They're adorable.
But like he's just a big vampire bat, and it's like, oh, you're actually kind of adorable. And he's like, yeah.
Yep.
And that goes back into like the Nutcracker theme though, because we have to have
we have to have the rats.
We have to have like something that's like representing an army, I guess, but I don't know if it's gonna be an army of bats. But anyways, we need some sort of like animal tie in there.
It can be like the town is the army.
Yeah.
Fighting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe when they have to fight Krampus, he turns into like corrupted bats. They're like, oh, these aren't Christmas bats.
Yes! Yes!
And they have to defeat the bats.
Guys, I love bats. Like, bats are adorable. Please bring the bats. Cute. I want the bats.
Okay, so he turns into a really cute vampire bat.
Yeah, and like flies her out. And when they land, she's like, you're a vampire, so that means he's a vampire. But like vampires love Christmas, so how can he be a vampire? And that's
Does he clock that, like, wait, she figured out that vampires love Christmas? Because that's not part of the lore. Like, how did she know? Or is he too distracted by the realization that his brother Craig Bringle, Christmas vampire, has become
Craig Bringle,
the Krampus?
I'm gonna choke. Okay. My throat is closing every time you say the name.
Krampus Craig.
No. Okay. Okay, no. How about in the scene where she's like, I need you to get me in to see your brother and I'll trade you your Nutcracker. And then he's like, you're going to get bored of the Nutcracker anyway. I'll get it eventually. And then she's like, or maybe the whole town should know that you're a vampire.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so she like reveals that. And then he's like, oh, shit. So it's the
he pretends that it's not true until he has to turn into a bat to get them out of the office.
And so like as they're heading up to the office, she like keeps making sniping comments like, oh, it's an awfully big hat to be wearing and long sleeves. And he's like, it's winter.
Love it.
It's not cold enough for gloves and like a scarf and a toque pulled all the way down.
He's like I'm from California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she's like, well, you're not very tanned. Do you never go in the sun? He's like, I use SPF 100.
I'm allergic to
Anyway.
the sun.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yep.
And then she's like, yeah, vampires.
That's some good banter, too.
Yeah, that's good vampire
I mean,
banter.
Not the way that we said it, but like
No.
if somebody wrote it and like put more than 4 minutes of effort into it, that would be some good banter.
I love me some good banter, yes.
Okay, so after they get out,
Yes.
then they're like, we have to fight a Krampus, or we have to do something about this Krampus.
Yeah, and she wants to kill the Krampus, and he wants to save his brother.
Yeah, and so the whole thing is he's like, if we can remind him how great Christmas is, he'll turn back into just a regular vampire, which I guess is what we want in this town.
Which is better.
It's better in our world.
And he's like, we only have like 4 days until Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to get the town super hype about Christmas.
Christmas carols in the streets.
Yeah. Oh, it's like Elf.
Yeah.
I love Elf. That's my favorite Christmas movie.
What if like the quote unquote Krampus army is like...
Would he have an army?
Well, like if we're doing the Nutcracker thing.
But he could just turn into a swarm of bats, and that could be the army?
I
It's
guess
just
so.
him?
I guess I just didn't think they were going to be like physically actually fighting him.
Yeah, me neither.
Like I thought it was going to be like a feelings showdown.
So it could be he tries to fight them and they like catch him and lock him in a Santa's workshop in the mall or something.
Oh yeah, what if they do like an underground like Christmas market? Like what if they're like, we're going to turn set up a Christmas market, and there's going to be like a tree, and there's going to be carols, and there's going to be like a secret Santa gift exchange.
Yes.
And all of that, and
free hot chocolate.
They like lure him in. And so at the end, the like quote unquote fight scene is like, you know, on one side there's like the people caroling at him, and he's like, oh god. And then as he stumbles away, he like turns around another corner, and there's like, oh, mulled apple cider. People nice and decorating a tree, remembering the true meaning of Christmas.
Oh, maybe there's like a scene when he like is stumbling around, like clutching his head or whatever, where he like turns and sees them decorating the tree, and there's like two like little boys who have like Christmas ornaments that look like the ones that he and Chris painted when they were kids.
Oh my god.
One of their first Christmases that they can remember. It's like, oh my god, like they both painted, I don't know.
Yeah.
Block carvings of reindeer or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he sees that and he's like, no! And then, oh, but then it's the Christmas tree, and the Christmas tree is why he hates Christmas in the first place. That's sad.
Yeah.
I just made myself really emotional. Might have something to do with the 4 shots of whiskey I've had tonight.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of bourbon.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then at the end, when he's like, he falls down on his knees being like, I just was so sad about Christmas ruined our family. And he like turns and his brother's there and he has the Nutcracker and he's like, you still have a family. And it's right here.
Oh my god.
And then that's the movie.
Yeah.
And then I guess it's supposed to be a Hallmark movie, so I guess the two main characters kiss at the end.
Yeah, they have to.
Okay. No, you know what it is? The brothers have their reunion.
Yeah.
And like Chris finally like goes and finds Claire and is like, hey, I know this isn't like what you thought you were getting into, but thank you for like helping my family find each other again. And then she brings out like some vampire Thanksgiving tradition that she's...
Oh my god.
And he's like, how did you know that, like, this is so important to us? And she's like, you know, I did some research.
Yeah, she's like, here's one part of the market that, like, I did. And it's, like a vampire Christmas tale.
Yeah, it's just turkey.
It's a dead turkey and mulled blood.
Yeah.
Mulled turkey blood.
Or even just, like, she brings him, like, a glass of mulled wine and some like mistletoe or whatever we decided were like the vampire traditions.
Yeah.
It's like, I thought that maybe, you know, should bring some of the put some of the Chris back in Christmas. And then they fall in love.
Yeah.
Obviously.
There's like an arc where they're like building the secret.
Yeah.
Oh my god, a montage, right?
Oh my god, that's the montage where they fall in love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they stop becoming enemies and they
There's-
become
yes.
lovers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then at the end she has to like take his hand and lead him into the like, I know we were working together, but I did this on my own. I think you'll like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah! I just got emotional. I've had too much.
Sam and I are both just like in our feelings.
Too deep in the feelings.
And like there's gonna be lots of times where there's like through the montage they're working together and they like accidentally graze hands or like they're super flirty with the banter and then like she accidentally falls and he catches her. Oh my god.
When he has to move like slightly too fast to catch her.
Yes.
Right? Like he wouldn't have been able to do it if he was human. Or she like, I don't know, cuts herself on a nail or something. And it's like, oh no. And he just does first aid and doesn't do anything creepy about it. And she's like, oh.
I love that.
I love that too.
Oh, man.
I
really want this movie.
I love cry myself to sleep now.
Yeah,
Me too.
I love the idea of them like bringing the town together.
Yes.
The town coming together. And there's like a scene where like one of the old grannies catches her staring at him when he like takes his shirt off to hammer some nails or something. And she like nudges her and she's like, no, it's not like that. We just have to work together.
It's like, oh, we barely know each other.
Yeah. I mean, I think we kind of got pretty vague at the end there, but I think we have a movie.
I think we did.
I think we have a movie.
I think this is a way better movie than the one my roommate and I watched the other day about a cop who goes on a stakeout and falls in love with the man she is staking out at Christmas.
No!
What?
Yep.
Which one is this, Hannah?
It's okay. He falls in love back. Oh, what was it called?
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
Are you gonna watch it, Sam?
Yes.
Oh, don't. It's not good.
I have this thing that I have to watch like every Netflix bad Christmas movie that comes out every year. So I've already watched Holiday. I've watched the new Princess Switch. I have not seen this one yet, though.
Holiday was actually good.
I did like Holiday. Yeah, I did like Holiday.
Yeah, Christmas Catch. Don't watch it.
Well, I probably will because I enjoy suffering.
It wasn't very good, but it had a far more ridiculous premise than our vampire Christmas movie does.
I want our vampire Christmas movie to exist because, like, I want to watch it with both of you.
Yeah.
I did a few minutes ago have a genuine moment of like, should we be like putting this out there for anybody to take? This is our idea.
Anyone to have it?
I mean, the podcast is time-stamped, so it's
true.
By the time it's posted, if anything comes after it,
we'll file a trademark.
Yeah.
Okay, Sophie, what's the elevator pitch for this movie?
Oh, God. I was put on the spot. Okay, it's like Van Helsing meets a Hallmark movie. We've got our two super hot main characters. One, he's a vampire. The other one, she's a vampire historian. No, she's not a vampire. She's a historian who studies vampires. I realize that's confusing. They hate each other because he's an asshole to her at the beginning, but she needs his help to get in to see his brother, the mayor, who she thinks is also a vampire. They find out that the vampire mayor hates Christmas, which means he can't be a vampire. And it turns out he's a Krampus who's trying to bring down Christmas in the whole town, which sucks. And so she's like, we got to kill him. And he's like, no, actually, we just have to help him remember how much to love Christmas. And so they set up a secret underground Christmas fair market with the whole town, bringing the whole town together. And then they make him remember Christmas and is happy.
It's so good. This is such a good movie. Somebody hire us to write this movie.
I literally just contained myself that whole time while you were talking because I was like, holy fuck, I want to watch this movie.
And it's going to be so good.
It's going to be so good. If you want to help us make our holiday screenwriting dreams a reality, consider rating and reviewing Midlight Christmas on iTunes or your festive podcatcher of choice. You can join us for carols and our new signature cocktail, the Hot Crisis, on social media. We are at Midlight Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and all drafts of the screenplay thus far, there are none, are available on our website, midlightpod.podbean.com, and on YouTube.
We will not be releasing those drafts to anybody because we're going to turn this into a movie.
We need to come up with a title for this movie.
I mean, I kind of liked putting the Chris back in Christmas.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Whose is? Oh yeah. Okay, what about rocking around the Chris Bringle tree?
Oh my god.